Hello, everyone, and welcome to this new episode of these interviews that we have the pleasure to record on the sidelines of the 13th Atlantic Dialogues here in Rabat, Morocco, and for which I am pleased to have a very distinguished guest, Dr. Megumi Muto-san, who is the Vice President of the Japan International Cooperation Agency and a Senior Advisor to the President of the JICA, as we call it, in charge of sustainability. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you so much for coming all the way from Tokyo to attend these dialogues. We are pleased to meet you. The first time we met you was on the sidelines of the annual meetings of the World Bank and IMF in Marrakesh. So it's a pleasure to have you back in Morocco.
Thank you so much.
I would like to start by asking you about your current role, about sustainability for JICA as one of the main arms and bodies, Japanese bodies, but bodies in the global north and let's say internationally, in truth, in charge of cooperation, international cooperation. So what does sustainability mean? How is it implemented? And how is it part of your, the very functioning of your organization?
Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to express my gratitude for giving me this opportunity to sit down and talk with you in this context of the Atlantic Dialogues. And I think that it's a very unique opportunity that inspires a lot of people, including myself. Right. With regard to sustainability, JICA has been working on the issue for the past, I should say, 2 or 3 years, and in particular for the last 1 year, 12 months, we have been joining forces. We have a dedicated team and really trying to work not just at the board level, but also at the department head level, director level, staff level, to make sure that this initiative is not just top-down or bottom-up, but it is really goes into the DNA of all staff at JICA, plus, of course, the stakeholders that we are interacting. Now, what is really the heart of this sustainability? It's not just about we do sustainability kind of like projects, programs, but it is more of sustainability management. So it is about ourselves as well. And we have defined 3 very important principles. So for sustainability, we will be a sound organization. So it's all about ourselves, this first pillar. So we have to be inclusive, we have to inspire each other, and then we have to be very sensitive and working on the gender issues as well as human rights issues. So this is the first pillar. And the second pillar is we have to create trust among all stakeholders. So it is not just our role, but it's the role and aspiration of all the people who are sitting here, plus the world these days. So we want to create a trusted organization. This is the second one. And the third one is we create shared values together. I think in the world of sustainability, everyone, as well as entity, is really thinking about what's the meaning of this creating shared value in their specific context. And for us, it's really creating a real impact on sustainability together through projects, programs, but also through our interaction and behavior and really changing the mindset, tune more into the future, right, together with the future generation as well. And then when it comes to specific projects and programs, this is not like a special, but it's basic. We make sure that all the new projects and programs are Paris aligned. And it's not just saying so, but we are creating now a process, KPIs, benchmarks that are linked to that. So it's not just mitigation, but also adaptation. And when it comes to the climate finance figures, this is in yen, but we make sure that we commit 1 trillion yen per year to climate change, and we aim to double our adaptation efforts by 2030, and plus we make sure that we will be measured by specific numbers on GHG reduction, and for us it's 4 million ton per year by 2030, and there's even discussions right now on how we can aspire more. So that is the whole thinking about sustainability right now in JICA. Once again, it's not just about projects and programs, but also about changing our thinking, our ways of doing things, break the silos, and how to create the shared values together.
Very interesting. You were in Baku for the COP29.
Yes, in Azerbaijan. Yes.
In Azerbaijan,
Yes,
that's
yes,
right,
yes,
absolutely.
yes,
So you
yes.
followed the discussions there. Obviously, you are one of the main stakeholders. You said how you were channeling these funds into new projects that need to be Paris-aligned with a view on reducing GHG, with a view on sustainability, which is really mainstream throughout your organization. I was wondering, given the efforts that you seem to be putting and the emphasis that you seem to be putting on sustainability, what your reaction to the agreement that was reached in Baku was?
The numbers, right?
Absolutely,
100
that's
billion to 300 million. That
Right.
is not enough, of course, and all these arguments, right?
Right, absolutely. And the general, atmosphere of the discussion, some of the disappointments from small island states, from the global south, specifically given the fact that Japan is itself an archipelago that has coped with climate change and climate induced events for a very long time.
Right. Thank you very much. I was not in the negotiation itself, right? I'm not in the government side, but also more on the aid agency implementing side, right? Plus, someone that has been in the operations with projects and programs, mainly in Philippines and Pacifics, which are countries that from our perspective, in the Asia-Pacific region perspective, they are really vulnerable to climate change. So I had many opportunities to really think about what projects and programs and also capacities lead to real impacts on climate, especially the adaptation side. That's my background. And in that kind of a background, and also working with the private sector as well. This is personal impression is that it's okay to talk about how the developed countries can contribute through public finance plus the private finance mobilized by that public finance. That is fine. That's the the definition of measure. How we measure these numbers. But taking maybe two steps back as a kind of individual professional, I think I ask myself, what is the role of, for example, foreign direct investments? I'm seeing a lot of foreign direct investments in the Asia regions, really having intention to contribute to climate. Maybe more on the mitigation side, but increasingly on the adaptation side as well. Where are they located in this whole picture? Then no one is counting that in the climate finance context. And also the role of public development banks plus the co-financiers, the private co-financiers together with the public development banks. We are maybe part of the public development banks, but they are a lot of public development banks, but that are not in the narrow sense of development finance, but doing their part in mobilizing finance for the climate as well as, increasingly biodiversity agenda. We are part of a coalition of public development banks called the International Development Finance Club, IDFC, and we think through those things, and maybe there should be a role to play in this climate finance context. And plus, of course, as there has been discussions here at the Atlantic dialogues, if the carbon credits and the nature credits become more functional thanks to the advancement of negotiations at that COP, all these private flows through the credit mechanism would play a big role. But it is not counted or accounted for in this in these numbers. And I kind of just professionally wonder, maybe we can encourage all these mobilization forces into the picture. So I don't have any a judgment about the green numbers per se, but as someone who is practitioner and trying to implement and trying to bring new forces into the picture, I'm hopeful that there will be more encouragement to the entities that I have just mentioned. Not exclusively, but other forces as well.
Very clear. My next question was going to be about the next Tokyo International Conference on African Development, or TICAD. You've had a lot of experience, notably in Southeast Asia, notably on disaster risk, on disaster finance. So I think the TICAD, every edition, but this edition that will be held in Japan, because it's Japan's turn to hold it next year in 2025. I was wondering how you think the agenda of TICAD will be, and notably how you think some expertise and experience that has been built in Japan's region, so in Southeast Asia and East Asia in general, can be channeled to Africa. What lessons can be learned?
Right. Thank you so much. I understand that there's a lot of thinking right now inside JICA, plus, of course, in the whole government as well as related entities on how to really deliver our good intentions of sharing experiences in the TICAD context. I have noted that, for example, the department in JICA working on agriculture is really focusing on how to shape messages as well as ideas of implementation with regard to this very keen, acute issue on food security, the nexus of food security and climate adaptation. So that's going on. But coming here, I really sense that there's so much interest on the nexus between macro stability or public fiscal space and adaptation. And maybe that is one area that can put on the table as a suggestion, as a special advisor to the president. Yes. So when I go back, I will try to bring that nexus between the macro stability, debt issues, and disaster risk finance, adaptation into the conversation in the preparation to TICAD. What does that mean, right? When we talk about risk, there are basically three ways of approaching risk. One is reduce the risk itself. in advance. That is what we have been really advocating in the term of disaster risk reduction. So it is, for example, flood control, reduce the risk of a flood itself by constructing flood control systems. Maybe in some areas, nature-based solutions is also a great solution. So that is one. And the second approach to risk is risk transfer. So maybe you have heard of insurance can play a role in that. So it is that. And there it is not only insurance, but they are like catastrophic bonds or like a contingent liability and all types of insurance, including index insurance that are in that toolbox. Right? The other like a set of toolbox is social resilience, right? I mean, it's really the power of the society to be able to cope without reduction or without risk transfer, but the strength of the society itself, including early warning systems, how you evacuate as a community, how you can endure with the assistance of other communities, right? That's really the social capital aspect, right? How to combine these three, and I should say it's not like a combining, but like how to build the elements of each pillar and make sure that at the very end, the combined forces, all these three, really builds the capacity of the society and the budget and the public financial system to smooth out. Right? I mean, there's no way there will be an easy smooth out. No. But relatively speaking, for example, the Philippines, before in each case of big typhoons, aid agencies, not just JICA, but all others, we joined forces in doing exposed humanitarian assistance. But we were thinking, this is not sustainable. Everyone thinks the same way in that context, right? Pacific countries also, right? I mean, we cannot survive by long term by just doing humanitarian assistance exposed. We have to make sure that there will be some risk transfer mechanism for the budget and also disaster risk reduction investment ex ante, and combining this with the social resilience, there will be strengths built up over time. So that's the lesson that we would like to share in the TCAT context. Maybe not just picking up one by one, disaster risk reduction or risk transfer or like a social resilience, but combining all these narratives as well as examples together. And in particular, I would like to stress the case that we have really seen in the Philippines in Metro Manila, the capital itself. We have been supporting their capacity building as well as infrastructure development in the flood control of the capital itself. Right, so that has been going on, but for the past 10 plus years, we have been working together on the risk finance part as well. It was contingent liability and also working together on the insurance mechanism for the public assets. And interestingly, that seems to be giving some kind of like macro stability. Especially when Typhoon Haiyan 2013, the Yolanda, the big super typhoon hit, because of the contingent liability arrangement that we had. there was a quick disbursement after the event, and the Philippines, like a pathway to the investment grade, right? Credit rating was not negatively affected, and that in turn created stable growth. And the fiscal space for disaster risk reduction went up. So there can be a virtuous cycle. Yes, that is something that we would like to share to many countries in Africa who are, in particular these days, really thinking very pessimistically about the fiscal space and the debt situation, right?
Absolutely.
Right. There are lessons to be shared and work positively about that situation. Thank you.
Dr. Megumi Muto-san, thank you very much for this very insightful conversation. It's always a pleasure to have you here for interviews, but also in Morocco, so we look forward to welcoming you. Yes, so TICAD, I suppose, will be a major next meeting next year as well, COP30 in Brazil. So again, good luck with all these different challenges, and looking forward to seeing you soon. Thank you again for accepting our invitation, and thank you very much for following this discussion. See you.